All this gray weather because it's authentic Oregon weather. I want to just everybody got the perfect Oregon experience. I did that. Now being an estuary, it's very shallow here. This is very shallow here. Those white pods out there with the color shapes on, those are the channel markers. And the deep channel, they dredge that. Now if they dredged that 100 years ago, they would have never built the railroad. But they dredged it deep enough to get in boats in now. There's rocks everywhere. You see out there that seagull standing there? He's not swimming, he's not floating, he's actually standing on the bottom. That's how shallow the bay is here. Or throughout the whole thing. There's clamming here with the tide gets really, really out. People clam by the dozens. And there's oysters on the other side. You can clam. Blast the whistle there, not because there's a crossing there. This is a blind turn to the right. There's a parking lot up ahead, and people like to get access to water by walking down the railroad tracks, which is insanely dangerous.
Kids stay off of the railroad tracks.
Funny thing.
Every railroad crossing in the United States has a blue placard attached to it. If you ever see a truck stuck on the track, some problem like that, go to the placard, call the number. The nice lady who answers the phone will straighten things out for you. If the camera's ready on the water side, ooh, look, the cormorant's in the water. They're standing here with their wings out. Anyway, waterside camera, if you want a picture of this arch rock, it's called Crab Rock, and there's a tide pool out there. When the tide's out like this, you walk down. When the tide's really out, you walk all the way around the thing. It's, but there's a tide pool in there. This next set of sea stacks is called the Three Graces. If you ever see like an online article of the 16 prettiest parts of the Oregon coast, almost certainly see Three Graces listed there, one photograph. And peeking around behind the Three Graces is a tiny little sea stack called Old Man of the Sea. There's about 2 cormorants standing on the center.
The old cars again. Hey, the old cars are back.
This next sea stack's called Pointing Rock because it points to the hill over here on the one side. Although the Coast Guard, they don't call it Pointing Rock, they call it Painted Rock because of what seagulls do when they stand on it. If you see that big flat spot on the left, that's where the pelicans like to land because they're in white and equal for prevailing winds. So all the birds have pink legs left over. And that's the opening out to the Pacific Ocean. You can see when the water changes color from a light gray to a dark gray over there. There's a bar there. Bars are just sand that goes from point to point, and the tide sweeps across and swirls around. It's very dangerous. To the right of the bar, that spindly tower belongs to the Coast Guard. That spindly tower belongs to the Coast Guard. They used to go out there with binoculars and watch for ships being in distress. Still doing the same sort of thing, but it's all done with cameras and done remotely now. So nobody has to climb that steel staircase in the middle of an electrical storm.
There are pods that can stand on the outside of the cab.
And this is where the crab pots normally are. I don't see any out.
No,
This is the crabbing area. Each float or pair of floats represent a crab on the bottom.
That's how
Set
we
your pots
call
out, let them
it
soak for
on
hours. Here we are, Rockaway. This place is called Water view, it's called that because from here you would view the bar. On the roadside are lily pond. There are all kinds of interesting creatures out there, fish and turtles and such. There's also a great blue heron. So you see a 3-foot tall bird. You would think that a bird 3 feet tall would be easy to spot. But no, their feathers are blue, gray, dark, beautiful. It looks like the body. Unless you look right at them or unless they move, you can't see it. Very unlikely you will actually see it all because if you look to the water side, up the hill, there's one tree that doesn't have the leaves on it. You look how transparently those people out there, that dark slightly leaves, all the leaves. Yes, and I do not see any trees that are not leaves. This is not nice to see. That's the season starts November, December. There was a mouse. Next step, 26 acres. There's talking about possibly is Canton Group. Nothing's looking at they have 1 year to get it down. 2. You just have the field is you got the subdivision go up and down. I'll tell you why they be over the 1955. Some of the schools wait, water's like somebody kayak. There we go. Oh. On the shore as well, on the boathouse. They light up and cross the boat. Also, they go pretty short. Over here on the roadside, technical railroad track, since I kind of got full, the border is 4. It's 142 miles from that contract to William Martin Street in San Francisco. After the Southern Pacific, all the line, they renumber it. So let's do some math now. 843 miles, you drink those 10 miles an hour, now Wrigley Heron on the roadside. Just on the other side of the pond, 10 minutes. See what I mean about being the color of the mud? If you have a good movie, there's another song. They wanted to develop housing at the same time the railroad wanted to come through. So they made a deal with the railroad. We sold the land to the railroad so they get through, and the railroad put in a flag stop so that people could get on the passenger trains and get their deals together. Everybody went. Side is Spring Lake, followed by Spring Lake Road. 125 years ago, they clear cut everything, did it bad. If you look past the thing up there in the hill, that dark brown, that was storm damage, so we could plant that. But 100 years ago, we're all first built the railroad, nobody anticipated that we'd be so many people going around here. But the days before there was air conditioning in people's houses, the only way to really escape the hot was that people spend a week or a month or a whole season to enjoy this season. Uh-oh, waving, what was I waving? Yes, reminder, a lot of the spiral club used sand dollars. There's a lot of sand dollars. But you get some of the other right who mostly sand dollars here. And on the roadside is the local high school. So that's the high school, junior high, and also community college out here. So the high school doesn't have advanced placement classes. If you want to calculate this, you just go into the community college. Go Pirates! Right, so it was built for the McCloud Railroad. And after World War II, everybody was switching to diesel electric, so they scrapped all of their steam locomotives except for this one. No particular reason they decided to keep it. And as a result, they've actually fired it up 2 or 3 times a year and taken it off and used it as an excellent working locomotive on their logging operation. But eventually it got sold to a tourist operation, which went bust and the locomotive came back. Sold it to another tourist operation, which went bust and came back. This happened many times. Eventually, it ended up in Stockton, California, where it appeared in 2 movies. One was called Bound for Glory, the other was called Stand By Me. Does anybody remember that famous scene in Stand By Me when the kids go,
Where'd you get it? That was a guilty one.
That's all there's to it. Just that's, the siren goes off and you just follow the, I love the with arrows, by the way. Up the hill. In case you get confused. Up the hill. The siren goes off and up you go. You just follow the locals up the hill. We've had a couple of tsunamis, giant cedars. And here's another one of those escapes. It's the second of the 2. And like I said, the siren goes off and we just gets out of the house, walks up the hill, on the side of the highway, and we can all through this thing.
Oh, we kind of camped down there.
We could.
They were like, do you like trains? We could camp down here. I was like, no.
Yeah, they'll cook you up. If you want to come down and have the whole crab experience, or just eat crab, they'll get you up. They'll yeah. Because some of these places got really everything right to me. There's a place also named in York, Manhattan. Monroe Beach is named after some place in North Slough. Even have a Miami River. They just name places, give familiar names.
Yeah, it is that guy. He's up there now.
And they would use it for telegraph, and later for telephone. They had a special, Southern Pacific did a special phone system. When you pick up the phone in these concrete huts.
Oh, there's another one. Look at him.
Put Green Blue Heron on the water. There he goes.
Beautiful. Here's another one on here too. There's one fly in there. And then you got one standing out here. Oh, look at him go.
Right, so the Southern Pacific had these concrete phone booths. You go in, you pick up the phone, you put the switch to position 1, you talk to other people up and down the line. So if I was here and somebody else is way down until about to pick up the phone, I can talk, where are you? Can I come out? You make an agreement about so you don't run trains into each other. But if you flip the switch to 2, you would talk to the local dispatcher. The local dispatcher could get you out on the main track. never seen one. They're cylindrical. Specifically, a lot of it is cylindrical boxes, a vertically cylindrical head. It's with a pointy top. If you're ever in a museum, what is that? You know, it's the equivalent from some there's no. You don't see so many great computers all over the spot. Okay, so this is where you want to put the camera out on the one side. We get to Fishery Point, the train is going to go make a hard right turn and we're going to go east. We're already north now. Get up there, we turn to the right, we're going to go east. If you're in the front part of the train, you get a lovely shot of the back of the train. Normally when there's a turn like this, there's like a hillside or a bunch of trees. It's relatively open, you should get a nice picture.
Yes.
Here it goes, turning the train.
Yeah, sure.
Pictures? Excellent. Yeah, like I was saying, normally when there's a sharp turn like that, when you get pictures like that, there's always a hill there, a bunch of... So anyway, over here on the roadside, this is these arrow channels, that's officially they're indicated. On the water side, you'll see these pilings sticking up. You see a lot of fishing. It kind of changed from the whole cramming. Now this is the entrance to the state park I pointed out earlier. And this island over here to the left, the Deer Island, it's got a bunch of Deer Island. And what happens in certain...
Little otter in the water.
I can see a wheeler up ahead. The town's right.
Oh, cool.
Right over there.
lot of waving for small children, both water side and road side.
I'm surrounded by three followers. I just don't
Oh, there they are. Waving. Up here on the water side coming up, that's where the camera used to be, the old pilot. Lots of heavy equipment. We need extra pilots.
Yeah.
You see how close the pilot are. The equipment is really heavy here. That's why I had all this. Then coming up is where the sawmill is. The smokestack is huge here, and you still see the big ring. And I'll put that up when you get up there. We'll see it. It's the smokestack, one of hundreds of feet. They take the bits and pieces of wood they couldn't sell and throw it into the boiler. Now, if you want to get a picture of the most unscenic lake in the entirety of Tillamook County, it is on the roadside, on the water side coming up. They picked this spot for these storage tanks, and they painted it gray, and light gray, and dark gray. What were they doing? So this is where the sawmill used to be. And you can see this big ring here on the water side. Where the locomotive is now. That was the basic smokestack. The square tower was part of this sawmill. They use it as part of their, and this building here, that's my house. No, it's not my house. It's a little bit bigger than my house. All right, here's the town of Wheeler. What to do with Wheeler? Now, they know we're coming. They were coming, so the restaurant's open. There's the smokehouse. Not smokehouse, the smoked salmon place. They got the incredible smoked salmon. They also do sandwiches, paste, etc. There are several other places, the coffee shop is open. There's also the antique store. I highly encourage you to go to the antique store. It is the strangest antique store you've ever seen. It's like the Winchester Mystery shop in there. There's like 5 different houses and they combine them together. Nothing's connected. You go there, you turn the corner. You can easily get lost in there. And not only that, they have the weirdest stuff you can possibly imagine. It's something you never could find in a regular antique shop. It's definitely worth it. But just be wise, you will go in there and you can come around. So the departure out of Wheeler, we will be departing at 6:40. 6:40 will be the departure. 5 minutes before, the engineer will give a mighty class of this, which will get you to this one here, by the way, this is the water side, this roof here. This is our head shot. This is how we get to go on the other side of the train. So, at some point, if we can here, go down the other side there, we can look and go back and go the other way. are arriving in the scenic room at just off a wheel. We're going to stop blocking a couple of roads. We're going to be there for 10 minutes to get into the train. So we'll open up the traps, people get out. Remember, 6:40 we'll be there for That's all I got. Hope you enjoyed yourself. See you when we turn on. Thank you very much.
Sorry, 25. Now you have more time. Two cars, 25.
Got all five of them.
Well, it seems like riding on a line that used to go in Northern California.
Yes.
I'm gonna go pee. I'll be right back.
Okay.